Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The theme of the week is kindness, with Pink Shirt Day taking the city and schools by storm. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how Father Gorman students are taking kindness the extra mile.
Grade 7 students at Father Gorman have been dialed in on kindness for this week. These students have been working on cards that they will then give to their neighbors in the community.
Of course, we teach the children to be kind all the time, but it's nice to have a week that focuses on that and celebrates acts of kindness, bringing it back onto everybody's radar. So we've got Mrs. Schwabius's class here, and they've done a special project where they not only want to be kind to their neighbors, but they want to do something that creates a ripple effect.
After making the cards in class, the students go together around the neighborhood, hand-delivering their kindness. Each card contains 2 gift cards with the goal of paying it forward.
It's important because we can learn and then we can teach it to other people so they know how to be kind, and it's goes on for generations and generations, so it doesn't just keep in one day, it keeps going on.
So it's something I want to teach my children and other people through the generations, because kindness is important. One day it can lead to peace and happiness all over the world. One act can go miles.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world.
The mayors of Lloydminster, Cold Lake, and other small cities are meeting in Saskatoon over the next few days to brainstorm over crime prevention. They'll also be meeting with Stats Canada officials about how data is reported in the Crime Severity Index.
I am here today with the Mayor of Cold Lake, Craig Copeland. And Mayor Copeland, we are talking about a trip that you're taking to Saskatoon. Can you tell me about the meeting that you are going to be attending?
Yeah, so a bunch of the mayors from across Western Canada were invited by the mayor of North Battleford, so he's taken the lead on this. But once a year, you get the ratings of your community on what's called the CSI, or Crime Severity Index. And, you always look at that index and go, oh, really? And so the communities that are invited to the meeting are in the top 20 in Canada. And so, there's going to be communities from Otasko and Cold Lake, Langley, BC, and a few communities from Saskatchewan. Lloydminster is going to be there also. And we're just going to strategize. And, one of the biggest issue is that, because of it's for populations over 10,000. If you have a major crime in your community, just one crime can really affect the ratios.
Okay, so you say that the numbers might show that you're in that top 10, but perhaps those are skewed a little bit by population?
Exactly. So, say we were to have one murder in Cold Lake with our population of just over 16,000, and he had 0 murders the year prior, it shows 100% increase in murders. So there's little nuances like that. So the idea the mayor has is to strategize with everybody, and there's going to be actually people from statistics from Canada government there to sort of strategize on better ways, and also the RCMP will be there in the meeting. So I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a good meeting tomorrow.
I know that it's a problem that has kind of plagued mayors from all types of communities and sizes. It seems everywhere is dealing with the same issues. Do you expect to hear anything surprising?
No, I think you're going to be in a room of like-minded municipal leaders, but we got to do something about it. Here in Cold Lake, we've always championed that the prosecution needs to be tougher. If that means building more prisons across Canada, so be it. But then leniency is unbelievable. It's very frustrating for the RCMP, catching the people, and then in some cases here in Cold Lake, they're released within hours, and it's very frustrating. I know we had an individual in Cold Lake that had over 200 events or charges on him. And still wandering around the streets. So, it's tough to be a police officer these days.
Yeah, for sure. And without the cooperation of the federal government with legislation and laws in place, people's hands are kind of tied, aren't they?
Yeah, we met with the provincial justice minister, Mr. Amory, and a while ago. But that's what he was saying, and we need to take a really tough stance, and the Liberal government really has to step in and deal with this, because we do have a crisis going on in municipalities across Canada. Um, it just seems to be, I really feel bad for the business owners here in Cold Lake and other communities that are getting continuously broken into. I mean, the city is part of that also, where facilities are getting broken into. But the insurance rates for companies is getting pretty extreme, and so we need to step in and do something. That's for sure.
Do you hope that anything will come out of this as far as something to be taken to the federal government to say, hey, here's what we have all been experiencing and finding, do something?
Yeah, I think in this case, in this meeting, I think we want to work with the statistics people to try to how do you justify on your charts small communities having how can you go from 0 to 1, and then all of a sudden, you're 100%, and then that really skews the index. And so it does cause issues when people are looking at your community to want to live and move there. It does. I've had doctors tell me that they're concerned when they come to Cold Lake about that number. They see it, so it's real. So I think that conference is going to be really trying to dive into the statistics, and trying to understand, is there a better way to work with those numbers so that it represents small communities' populations.
All right. Well, Craig, we'll leave it there. And thank you so much for taking the time this morning to speak with me.
Thank you.
Thomas Wildman joins me now to have a look at the weather. And Thomas, it is pretty chilly out there with the wind today, and maybe looking a little bit nicer for the weekend?
Yeah, it's just certainly we're going to get a little bit warmer as this day comes to a close, and it'll be okay for Thursday, Friday, but we are going to see some snow later on at the end of the week and a little bit there. I will mention, though, that we're wearing the pink shirt today for the Kindness Wins initiative. It's the pink shirt day, of course, for all anti-bullying and whatnot for that, but just a great event here that's been happening here across Canada, or a great day, celebratory day that's been happening across Canada now. I think it's been for more than 10 years, and so I remember celebrating it a lot. Now I have this lovely pink t-shirt. I never used to have a pink t-shirt. I had to always ask my mom for one. Taking a look at our airport here for the at the Lloydminster Airport for the Almanac, our normals are considerably lower than our temperatures today. -17 for the high today, -19 for the low today. The normal at -3, low of -15. So we're getting quite a bit cooler than comparatively to how it usually should be here as we come to the end of February. That reflects here at the current conditions for Lloydminster Airport, -20 wind chill all the way down to -32. So it's plenty unpleasant out there right now. 71% humidity out here in Lloydminster at the airport there. Cold Lake sitting at -15 with their wind chill. They're going down to -24. So they're quite a bit warmer as you get a little bit further west. But taking a look at our friends further east into Saskatchewan, North Battleford, similar to us, -18 down to -28 with that wind chill. Take a look at the current temperatures across our local Midwest region here. Cold Lake, as mentioned, sitting at that -14 mark. Lloydminster at -20. Marwayne, just above us, is at -19. Vermilion sitting at -18. Wainwright and Provost down at -16, -17. Vegreville also at that -17 mark. St. Paul at -18. Bonnyville at -16. Lac-La-Biche and Edmonton sitting at a warmer -14, similar to Cold Lake. Taking a look at the Saskatchewan side, Pierceland and Green Lake are at -16. Meadow Lake not matching Green Lake at -15 today. St. Walburg at -18. Maidstone similar to us at -20. Macklin a little bit warmer at -14. And North Battleford sitting a little bit cooler than us currently right now at that -21 degrees. Of course, it's a little bit different depending on how the Lloydminster Airport is versus how they calculate Lloydminster right now. Taking a look at tonight's forecast here in Lloydminster, we're sitting at -19, cloudy and breezy with rising temperatures, 25% chance of precipitation, so likely not going to see much out of that. 26 east-southeast winds there coming from us here in the windy border city. Cold Lake is going to see something similar, -16, plenty breezy there late, 25%, and they're sitting at 22 kilometers with that -16 low. And taking a look now at North Battleford, they're going to be at -20 with that low. They have a 33-kilometer east wind coming at them. 25% chance of precipitation. It's likely not going to be nothing for all of our 3 major cities here with the clouds. But now taking a quick look at our upcoming 3-day forecast, and unfortunately, we might see a little bit of an afternoon snow tomorrow at Thursday, even though it's going to be a little bit warmer, and then it's going to cool off a little bit as we get into the weekend. An 80% chance of 2 to 4 centimeters on Saturday. But that will do it for our first look at the weather forecast. We will have some more exciting news headlines coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Lakeland Indigenous Services is organizing a Makers Market for next month. Our Leo Cruzant spoke to the service coordinator about the event.
I'm here right now in Lakeland College in Lloydminster, and I'm here with Tanisha Young and Joel McNabb to talk about the upcoming Indigenous Makers vendors, right? And it's going to be ongoing in March 22nd, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So this is Joey. She's our cultural support admin assistant, and she's actually the one that's been planning it. So I'll let her talk about that a little bit.
Sure. On March 22nd, during the community round dance, we're going to have about 20 Indigenous makers setting up booths with all sorts of different products, ranging from medicine pouches to talking sticks, beading, ribbon skirts. It's such an array. It's going to be amazing. It will be our biggest market yet, and it runs from 6 to 8 p.m. The round dance ends at 9 p.m., and it's a cash-only event, and definitely come check it out.
And how long is this event happening? Is this like your first time, or how long is
This is Lloydminster's very first time hosting a round dance, and it's in collaboration with LPSD, LCSD, Métis Local 18, Lakeland College, Gold Horse, and the Heart of Treaty 6.
Oh, there's a lot of people that are actually involved in this one.
Yes, and so our part is we said that we would take care of the Indigenous Makers Market, and that's why we're promoting it today.
And is there any returning vendors, or since it's the first time, like how many application or vendors that applied?
Technically, it's not our first time. Joey did a really fantastic job for our winter Indigenous Makers Market, and we had about 14 vendors then, so we've improved now to 20. You want to go on?
Maybe about half of them are returning, but we have a lot of new ones as well, so that'll be nice to showcase.
And any new that is happening for this new, for the spring Indigenous Makers Market? Anything new that people are going to expect, exciting that they're
I think just the change of location from it being in the hallway at Lakeland College, the Lloydminster campus, and taking it to the Gold Horse Casino. And it's going to be like accompanied with the round dance, so there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. With the round dance, there's also going to be spot dances that are happening and giveaways, so some of those tables might actually donate a couple things too to give away. I know people are going to be giving away food. So I think if you're going to attend, it's open for everybody. All ages are welcome. It's a drug-free, alcohol-free event. And bring your money to support the Indigenous Makers Market.
And I just want to ask, like, why is this type of Indigenous, it's so important in the Lloydminster community and as well as the Indigenous community?
The other thing that we are trying to highlight is that representation matters. We want to see more beading, we want to see more ribbon skirts, and we want to highlight that it's important to purchase those from an Indigenous maker. And we're giving people the opportunity to do that.
And is there anything that you want to add, something you want to say to the viewers to let them know about this upcoming event?
These posters are going to be posted around our community on our community bulletin boards. It's an event where everybody is welcome to attend. If you have a ribbon skirt or ribbon shirt, please wear it. It's on March 22nd at Gold Horse Casino. There's going to be lots of great vendors there, so we're excited to see you, and Lakeland College welcomes you.
And children love this event, so all ages welcome. We really encourage you to bring your kids, show them the Indigenous culture, give them the opportunity to join hands and represent that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for promoting this event and giving us the information on what do people expect about this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
The Lakeland women's hockey team held a community-wide event at Bud Miller, hoping to bring the team and community together as the Rustlers head into the playoffs. Skates glided across the ice and hot dogs cooked on the barbecue as the celebration of hockey event was held. This event is a great way for the Rustlers to connect with the community as they head into the postseason. The head coach, Morgan Mann, was excited to see what the event could bring.
An event that can be enjoyed by everybody, young and old, and whether you're playing in the grassroots community league in Lloydminster or you're an elite hockey player, doesn't matter. Today, boys and girls and young and old just out on the ice playing some hockey the way it used to be played.
The team finished their season with a 21-4 record, securing home ice against the 4th-seeded St. Trojans. The Rustlers finished their season on an 11-match winning streak and hope to take that momentum into the playoffs.
And now the fourth part of the season begins, and so we'll be preparing for our first round here this weekend.
The games run this Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock and Sunday at 3:30 if necessary. The Lakeland Rustlers women's basketball team already has a spot in the national championships as they're hosting, but they're aiming to grab the top seed from the ACAC, and in order to get that, they need to win the ACAC championship. With more on the journey to glory, here's our Thomas Wildman.
The Rustlers are on their way to the Final Four in Calgary, hosted by St. Mary's University, but in order to get their ticket to the medal round, they had to go through the Keano Huskies. Lakeland had an outstanding first half, scoring 22 points out the gate in the first quarter and a solid 19 points in the second, while holding the Huskies to 27 points in the first half, having an excellent 41-27 lead. In the third quarter, the Rustlers faltered a bit, giving up 21 points, but bounced back in the fourth quarter, holding them to 6 points and leading to a solid 71-54 win.
We dialed up defensively. I think we really saw that. We pressured the ball well, we rebounded the ball well, and we limited our turnovers. In the third, I thought we got a little scattered and we let them get downhill and got to the foul line a lot. And, you know, our team has those lapses, but we usually bounce back. So credit to Keano, I think they scored 21, but we held them to 6 the next quarter. So very similar to what we held them to at half. And for our girls, it's all about playing our style for 40 minutes. We know the pace is going to wear teams down usually, and that's what it did in the fourth.
The Rustlers had an injury to one of their starters and needed some younger players to step up and fill in for her scoring. And second-year forward Vita Gottslig was one of those players with 16 points on the night and 9 rebounds. A fantastic performance that netted her her first ever player of the game.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, I'm super excited, and it's really good to get recognized for your hard work. And like, I felt that like my hard work showed during the game, which is awesome. Like, it's an awesome feeling.
While this team has been expected to make it deep in the ACAC playoffs, for some of the younger players like Gottslig, it will be their first time at the Final Four, and they are very excited for the high-intensity matchups.
I've never been to a playoffs before, and most of and the rookies either, and so it's gonna be a eye opener and a great experience for all of us.
The women's basketball ACAC championships will begin this Friday. Lakeland will have the late game against Briarcrest College, and then the following day will be the bronze medal game, followed by the gold championship game. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
Time now to have a look at all of the cute pet pictures you've been sending in to us for our Pet of the Day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
I'm joined by Stu Hughes, the founder and artistic director of the 24th Annual Comedy Tour that's coming to the Sticks this Thursday, February 29th. Stu, thanks so much for your time today. How's it going?
Good. How are you in beautiful Lloydminster? I heard it's a little chilly up there right now.
Yeah, a little chilly, a little cold, very snowy, but nothing we can't handle here. So Stu, tell me a little bit more about this upcoming comedy show.
Well, not only are we going to bring the warmth, we're going to lots of laughter, hundreds of laughs. 2 headline comics coming there to relaunch since the pandemic at the Sticks in the showroom in the back. Don't worry, we won't be on the pool tables, it'll be in the back. So come on out. We got two great comics. We got Ken Hicks, who used to be a DJ, and he's been doing it for 20 years. He's a little bit more PG than me, and I'm a little bit over the top. So it's just going to be so much laughter. We're going to talk about everything and get the audience involved. So start drinking now. No, just show up. Doors open at 6:30, 7:30, and the owner of the Sticks is wants to launch this great. So he's going to try and fight inflation. So he's giving 50% off tickets until I think this evening. So maybe tomorrow morning or on February 29th when the show is. So instead of being $30, it'll be $15. So invite a friend, eh?
So on that note, Stu, how and where do people buy tickets? Can they get them at the door or do they go online?
Yes, so they can go to the door, they can call the Sticks in Lloydminster, and also they can just sneak in the back door. No, they can go to funnyfest.com/Lloydminster and get the tickets right there. They don't have to print them, just like going to court, except less hassle. And then come on down. People can wear whatever they want. If you're under 18, just put a fake mustache on for the woman, and for men, just wear your mom's evening gown and come on down, and that'll be a good time.
Lastly, Stu, is there anything else you want to share about this upcoming event?
Well, I just think we need more laughter, and our mission at Funny Fest for the last 23 years is to be a catalyst for physical and mental well-being through the gift of laughter. So I think people in Lloydminster, great town. Everyone, every time we've done a show, they're fantastic people, so you deserve a laugh, especially before they close the border.
Thanks so much, Stu. This sounds like a super fun night, and I know I'm going to try to come out tomorrow to these Sticks for a very fun-filled and laugh-filled evening. So thanks again, Stu.
Thank you, and God bless Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
We're back again this week with Stephanie Dobson. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankin Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Lloydminster and in Edmonton. Stephanie, thanks for joining me once again.
Thanks, Stacey.
Well, last week we were talking about workbooks for people going through divorce and separation. This week we're going to get into actual books, so books that people can read if they want to help them through the process. So I want to start out by talking about kids' books. So I know you have several, and obviously there's so much out there. So what are some of the books that you like for kids?
Sure. So let's start going through them. So this first one is called Two Homes. So this book is really about explaining divorce to small children. So you can see here it's got some bigger writing and some big pictures there. The next book is called It's Not Your Fault, Cocoa Bear. And this is a little bit longer of a book. So you can see more of a storybook type of a book. And then the next one is called The Incredible Shrinking Girl. So this one is a really great story by a friend of mine named Julie Werner. And this is a really great story that she created. And then we've got a workbook type of a book here called When Mom and Dad Separate, and it's talking about children who are going through anxiety or grief. And so if you open up the book, you'll see it's actually a workbook style book, and so you can do this together with your children. And we've got here helping your kids cope with divorce the Sandcastles way. So this is actually a program out of the States through a social worker, and it's got some exercises, but it's quite a hefty encyclopedia of sorts. But that one's a really great one. And then I've got two more here. One's called Mom's House, Dad's House for Kids, and I've got the adult one here in just a moment that I'll feature. But it's a really great kind of novel type of book for teenagers. And then the last one is called Home Will Never Be the Same Again. And this is actually a guide for adult children going through their parents' divorce. It's also a great book for parents to read who have adult children.
Well, let's talk about the next subject, Stephanie, which is like parents. Obviously, it's a struggle for them too. So if they're learning to parent from two different homes, if there's kids involved or whatever the case is, what do you have the books that what books do you recommend for that scenario?
So there's so many of them out there, but there's two that I wanted to feature here. One is called Mom's House, Dad's House. So this is the adult version of the kids book the novel. And this is really an encyclopedia of sorts. And this is all about how do you create a mom's house and dad's house as opposed to home and dad's house or home and mom's house. And so really neutralizing that, and it really speaks in a child-centered way. And the second one is a book I love for parents who have trouble communicating. It's called BIF, BIF for Co-Parent Communication, and it's written by a gentleman named Bill Eddy, who's a lawyer and social worker out of California. And it's just some great ways to communicate if you're having trouble. So BIF stands for Brief, Informative, Friendly, and Firm, and it tells you how to communicate and how to respond to messages to de-escalate conflict.
Now, what about just some general books, Stephanie, for people who are trying to figure out how to go through the process of separation and divorce?
Yeah, the how-to is something that often people forget. They know that they want to hire a lawyer or a mediator. They think they need to go to court, but they're not really sure. So I had chosen 3 books here that really spoke to me. So one is called Children Come First: Mediation, Not Litigation When Marriage Ends. And so this is all about mediation as a process. Mediation is where there's one neutral mediator as opposed to each of you hiring your own lawyers to go through with your separation or divorce. The other one is called The Collaborative Way to Divorce. And this one is about where the collaborative process is where you each hire your own lawyer, but you agree still, the 4 of you, to work together cooperatively. So that's one, mediation, one about collaborative divorce. And then the next one is a very impactful book called Tug of War. And this is actually written by a judge from the Ontario Superior Court of Justice who explains why parents should not want to ever go through the court system. So spoken from a true person with experience, a justice from Ontario.
And Stephanie, why did you choose this week to highlight all these books? Like I said, I know there's a lot of information out there, and it's nice that you've broken it down to some simple ones. But what was the reason for picking the topic this week?
There's so many fantastic books out there, and I find that it can be so overwhelming. Even my own library, I went through it last night and I tried to pick out some of the really good books that I could feature today. But, for families who are just starting their journey and going through separation or divorce, it's sometimes hard to figure out where to start, what resources to get. And sometimes you can happen upon some really kind of more difficult type of information and information that might not be correct, or even some information that tends to escalate conflict. And there's lots of that kind of stuff out there. So I thought if I could sort of hone in to pinpoint some resources that are positive and to help families thrive, I thought it might just make it a little bit easier for families.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us once again this week, and we'll be back to chat with you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
Apple has decided to close the doors on its work towards an electric car, according to reports. Apple never confirmed the long-running speculation it would make an electric vehicle, but it had taken several steps over the past 10 years that suggested it was serious about its car efforts. Several employees working on the project will be shifted to the firm's artificial intelligence division.
It's good to hear that. Oh, you can go first.
No, go ahead.
Okay, it's good to hear that they're repurposing those guys and not just canning them. So,
yeah, well, I suppose
world out in the tech world.
All of the Android users might be a little skeptical about using an Apple vehicle, so maybe that was where the decision was made. That's all we have for you tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.